Kunika, for joining. It's indeed a pleasure and a very proud moment for me, for Nidhi ma'am and Manmitswar and everyone who belongs to S&M to welcome you today, not in the capacity of a student, but in capacity of an officer. I'm delighted, Kunika, to present you to everybody who is present here, because you've proved that with intelligence, perseverance, hard work, and dedication, you can achieve what you desire. Kunika comes from Kullu, and she joined us 4 years ago, where she started her preparation for Himachal Administrative Services with us. And there are some students whom you can identify right from the beginning that this is an officer material. And she was one of them because I taught her psychology. So I have had a very close observation. And honestly, I mean, we can't take a lot of credit of what she has achieved, because if something was told to her that this is to be done, it was done, right? And we guide so many students, but very few of them make it to the ranks. It's because there is caliber, and also it's because they have trust. So she comes from Kullu, and in her very first attempt, she cleared her HAS Allied examination. And I think 3 or 4 students from her batch made it to the Allied Services that year, which really came to us as a very pleasant surprise. And currently she's working as an inspector, Department of Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs in the government of Himachal Pradesh. And you all know it, that this year she has made it to the prestigious HAS Executive Services. And of course, soon she would be joining as an STM after her training period gets over. So welcome, Kunika. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. I'm really honored to be here in a different capacity this time. I'm really overwhelmed. It's truly a pleasure to be here with all of you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of the aspirants.
Thank you, Kunika, for taking out time. I know your hands are full. You're still in the service, and there is lots you have to you're yet to do to wind up what you're doing and start up with the next phase of your life. So for everybody's information, this session would be for 45 minutes, and I would be taking very little time with Kunika, because a lot of things that I would want to ask today, it's already there all over the internet, right? What books she studied, where did she study from, what was her strategy? Most of the things are there. I'm going to ask her certain very specific kind of questions, which could be, your ready reckoners for your preparation. And then I would kind of invite all of you individually to ask questions from her, and if you have certain doubts and certain clarifications desired, Kunika will be with us till 7 o'clock, right? So, Kunika, my first question to you. We know all the books and the resources that are available, but, if there was one piece of advice or, some bit of advice that you want to give to the aspirants now about their prelims strategy, what would that be, Kunika?
Ma'am, my first advice would be not viewing the 3 stages in isolation, but using an integrated and holistic approach to preparation, right? Right from the very beginning, when you start reading the topics both from prelims and mains perspective is the first thing that we have to do. Sticking to the syllabus, because syllabus is the best guide that we have. So that is the first advice. And secondly, for prelims, it's just that we should rely more on the static part, because if our basics are clear, we'll be able to tackle the questions from the static part very confidently, and which can fetch us great marks. And more focus should be on the questions from Himachal Pradesh general studies, right? Because there are approximately 25 to 30 questions from HPGK. So that forms an important part. And I would advise to strengthen the static part like polity and the modern history part, which can, fetch you great marks. Because for current affairs, the material is unlimited. There is a sea of information. You have to be very careful while devoting your time preparing for prelims.
Yes. So, what I heard you say, Kunika, you said three things. Everyone should follow an integrated approach, right? Please study prelims, mains together rather than looking at these two things in an isolation. Second thing she has said it, focus on static because that's not going to change, isn't it? So that's a very smart strategy that she's talked about. And also because HPGK formulates a very integrated and 25% of your paper comes from that part. So what I have heard Kunika say is please focus on HPGK because that's a high yielding area. All right. Thank you so much, Kunika. Kunika, if we were to come to mains now, again,
Yes.
what would you suggest the aspirants so that they can cover more in less time and they are able to yield better with minimalistic effort?
Ma'am, I would again suggest using syllabus as the guide, preparing topic-wise notes for GS and both for optional as well. You should prepare topic-wise notes for your general studies subjects if you are having those beforehand. So that will help you to tackle the questions in mains.
Okay. And Konika, because again, GS mains is a very vast, it has very vast syllabus and it has very kind of lot of diversity in it. So I would like you to share your resources and what is it that you fell back on, and what did you practice the most? What was your routine like when you were preparing for your mains? I want to hear more on that.
Okay, ma'am. During preparation for mains, because right after prelims, I started writing answers for my optional as well as the GS part. And for GS, I relied on my self-made notes plus the material that I got from the coaching academy. And I used to constantly add the current material along with it because it is like the topping on the cake. You are going to add current, which will supplement your answers. They'll look better in presentation while you write them in the mains. And most important thing, because prelim is all about recognition. There you the options are right in front of you, the answer is right in front of you, you just have to recognize the answer, right? And in mains you have to focus more on recall. Whatever you have read, you have to focus on recall of that information, that content that you have read during preparation. Also, the answer writing test series before mains and the evaluation sessions that were conducted by you, they were greatly helpful for me.
Yes. So again, if I were to paraphrase what I've just heard Kunika say is that you ought to have some basic resource that you fall back on. And since Kunika was with us, so we do provide notes for mains. But what she was topping it up was what she was enriching her notes with was the current affairs, right? So that bit of extra labor, I would expect all of you to do, that you have some ready reckoner stuff with you, but please enrich them with the current affair material. And again, we have been regularly updating the current affair notes and we have been regularly providing you quarterly basis. We have been sharing those things with you. So please kind of enrich your notes. And yes, what I clearly heard her say is answer writing is extremely, extremely important. Are we on the same page, Kunika?
Yes, ma'am. Right.
So she just shared that she started writing answers immediately after her prelims, but I want to remind her that she was one of the most regulars with submitting her answers while she was preparing for her HAS exam, right? So don't just wait for prelims to get over and then start writing your answers. Be very regular with at least writing one answer a day, which is really going to help you build up your speed, your strategy, your processes to write an enriched answer. Okay, Kunika, any statement on interview preparation?
Ma'am, on interview preparation, this time the interview was more of opinion-based questions. They were more situational questions, And instead of just relying on the factual information, you have to be more aware about your surroundings. Your personal profile has become the most important thing. You have to focus more on your hobbies, and if you are working, you have to just master your profession. Like, you have to know everything, each and everything about the department you're working in. You have to know every here and now about your district, what is happening, if there is any recent development in your district, and if any significant event has occurred in the past, that all was there.
Yes, so you not only need to know about your own self, your hobbies, maybe your own academic background. Since Kunika was working already, so you have to be so clear about your own profile, your own professional, as you know, your own profession, whatever capacity you're working as. Your district is very important, and all the current happenings and events you have to be really be abreast with, right? So that is prelims, mains, and interview. From what I thought I would ask Kunika, the stage would be all set for all of you to ask your doubts. Now I come to some other concerns that I have in my mind, and I thought if a topper clarifies that and a person who has cleared the exam talks about it, it would make a lot of more sense to the listeners and the audience. So Kunika, we are now in an era of information overload, and there is freedom of speech, and everyone is an expert now. Without any, sometimes without even any background or experience behind them. So people have YouTube channels in their names and they're generating content, but we really do not know about the authenticity and the quality of content which is available online. Kunika, what advice would you give to the aspirants who are preparing today with so many distractions and so many opinions that surround them?
Ma'am, I totally agree with what you say, that there is an overabundance of information around us, and there are high chances that we can just get drowned in that sea of information. It is very important to be very selective and to refer to the right or relevant sources which are available. And you have to choose very wisely. You have to, like, yes, like you said, that there must be the authentic sources that one must refer to. And just relying on the online material solely, it will not solve the purpose. Like, people are moving, they prefer more towards, this online material, online content. What I have heard aspirants say, that we don't read books, we read online material. And that is, I don't think that one can solely rely on that.
So what I heard you say, Kunika, is that there is no replacement for books, right? And probably books are one of the most authentic sources to fall back on when we are preparing for the exam. Kunika, you just said that we must, like both of us, we reiterated the fact that we must check the authenticity. Any indexes you would like to share with the audience, Kunikas, and what are those 3-4 pointers which probably a young student who is starting his preparation, what is it that they ideally should look for when they are thinking of maybe collecting the content and falling back on certain pieces or certain sources of information?
Ma'am, first of all, one should look for the while starting the preparation. The first and foremost thing is that you should know the why of preparation. Why are you preparing for this exam? There should not be any external reason for that. There should be no external pressure. You should be intrinsically motivated to perform that task. There should be something that pushes you every day, that you should just sit and study for hours, that you are ready to devote your time for that. And relying on the standard sources which are there, like you refer for M. Lakshmikant for polity, you are relying on Spectrum for modern history, or you are using NCRTs for geography. So that should be very clear in your mind, that you have to read books, And about the online distractions that are there, you should be a wise selector. You should select wisely. Like if you are reading a newspaper, if there is any issue that is not clear in your mind, you can watch study IQ videos or any other relevant material that you find online, but you have to be selective about it.
Yes. So please be wise and selective in choosing your sources. It is so easy to get distracted in this whole jungle of information. It is so overwhelming. So, if I could reiterate what Konika has just shared, please stick to a few number of resources. Then go over them over and over and over again. And I think there is no limit to how many times you can revise those standard sources, right? And very rightly put, if you think that reading a particular concept has not been enough for you, then probably it's time that you refer to a video which probably facilitates and simplifies your understanding of the concept. Thank you for that, Kunika. Okay, my next
Welcome.
question, Kunika, what do you think is the role of a mentor in this digitally driven world?
Ma'am, the role of a mentor has what I have seen from the pre-pandemic times. There is a paradigm shift in the post-pandemic times. Like we have entirely shifted to the
Yes.
digital mode, and that relationship between a mentor and mentee, it has drastically changed. And what I think is that you need a proper way to channelize your efforts, and a mentor can do the best with that. And like I was really lucky, I was really fortunate, I would say I was blessed that I had you who guided me in the right direction, who made me believe in all my capabilities. So looking at sources that are not relevant, you should, like, abstain from that, and looking at the right sources and right people who can guide you through is really important.
Yes. So again, mentor is somebody who has traveled to that through that path that you are desiring to travel. So there is no
Right.
harm falling back on the expertise of someone who has crossed those bridges before you, isn't it? And she has been very generous to just talk about me, but of course it was a team effort, and there is no one person who creates an institute. It's always a team effort, and I'm a very small speck and a very small I would say link in the larger scheme of the chain. So please have a mentor and trust your mentor. And these 20 years of my academic and education experience, I have seen a lot of students who have been clearing their exams because they simply trusted someone. And I'm not saying that let it be me or Nidhi ma'am or Manmeet sir or Abhishek sir. I mean, choose your mentor, but then stick to that mentor till the time you accomplish what you desire to. Right? Thank you, Kunika. So also, Kunika, you studied and prepared for your examination in a classroom environment when nobody had heard of Zoom, Google, and even YouTube was quite an alien construct then. Uh, how do you think, and of course, 3 years of preparation, each one of us, we all got graduated and upgraded to falling back on, online resources as well. So, what is your take on it, Kunika? If you were to compare a classroom with that of a Zoom classroom, or purely, relying on online resources, what is your take on that, and what is your advice to the listeners today?
Ma'am, my advice in this regard would be like if there are online material available or the online classes which are going on that cannot replace the traditional classroom environment that we have, because there are recorded lectures which one can watch later according to his or her own convenience. There is lack of self-discipline, there is a lack of accountability, and there is no time management, which I personally feel that this is there. If we attend traditional offline classes, we were regular, we were disciplined, and there's more active involvement of a learner in that process. So that is lacking in the online environment, and one should not solely rely on digital learning. That is what my take is.
Very true. All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Kunika, for so relevantly explaining everything that I wanted the audience to come across. And now I I mean, the stage is open, the platform is open to all of you to ask your questions. You can raise your hand, I'll call out your name, and then you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question uh, from the speaker. Yes. Any questions? Any doubts? Any clarifications? Hey, this is a wonderful opportunity. Yeah, Kamini.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
मैम मुझे ना आपसे पूछना था सी सेट की प्रिपरेशन हम कब से स्टार्ट करें, मतलब आपने जब अपनी जर्नी में कब सी सेट की प्रिपरेशन शुरू करी थी?
I started it right from the very beginning. Like we had classes for CSAT, and we were simultaneously preparing for GS as well. So it's just that you just give a look at the previous year's question papers, right? And if you are able to solve or identify your strong areas, like if you are able to perform good at verbal reasoning, right? Or if there are some other questions that you can perform well, you just need to practice and then identify your strong and weak areas and just work on that. And I guess preparing 1 month before can suffice.
थैंक यू मैम। और मैम न्यूज़पेपर के बारे में बताओगे आप, मतलब न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग में नोट्स मेकिंग कब करें, मतलब कैसे करें, वो बता दोगे थोड़ा सा कि न्यूज़पेपर हम
Right.
रीड करते हैं तो फिर नोट्स कैसे बनाएं एंड ऑल, कि बनाने चाहिए या सिर्फ मैगजीन्स वगैरह पे डिपेंड रहना है?
देखिए सबकी अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी रहती है रिगार्डिंग करंट अफेयर्स. व्हाट आई डिड वाज कि एक नोटबुक ले लिया एंड आई डिवाइडेड इट इनटू वेरियस पार्ट्स, राइट? पॉलिटी के लिए एक है, इफ देयर इज सम न्यूज रिलेटेड टू सोसाइटी और आर्ट एंड कल्चर उसके लिए एक सेक्शन है अलग से, एंड व्हाट आई फेल्ट वाज रेलेवेंट आई noted it down. So that's what you can do. And during the time of prelims, I just give a look at those. And what you can do right before prelims is that कि आपने जो भी magazines पढ़ी होंगी बिफोर द एग्जाम, राइट? तो आप ये कीजिए कि आप सेक्शन वाइज डिवाइड कर दीजिए. व्हाट आई डिड कि जो भी मैं रीड कर रही हूँ, इफ आई एम रीडिंग सम स्कीम्स, राइट, तो एक स्पेशल सेक्शन है स्कीम्स के लिए. आई रोट डाउन नेम ऑफ द स्कीम, its year of launching, the ministries concerned, right? Or if there was any special feature about that, I used to write that. So you can just do that before prelims.
थैंक यू मैम।
Welcome.
Ma'am, you are on mute.
For letting me know. So that magazine, which we are constantly updating, you can fall back on it. But yes, she's right. You can rearrange the information if you desire to suit your own convenience and your own strategy. Sapna, you have a question?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Good
Kunika
evening.
ma'am. Congratulations, first of all, from all of
Thank
us.
you so much.
Ma'am, I would like to know about basically, as a layman, I am just a very new to actually in this particular like preparation. So I would like, as
Right.
a very raw man, like to know about like how to start the preparation, like what all subject that we need to be carry forward. Like it is a very initial days for me to preparing for this particular exam. I don't know which subject I need
Right.
to pick. I don't know how to start with the prelims, or do I start with the mains? Do I go for the newspaper every day on my study room? There are a lot of things are just to be spreading around,
Right.
but I do not know how to start with the things, and how to align the day for myself for my preparation. So I would like to just know from you that what all things or what kind of a strategy that we initial year or maybe the initial days we need to be keep on for ourselves to make our routine or schedule better way, and that would be very fruitful
We
for
got
us.
your question, Sapna. We got your question. Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Kunika.
you, ma'am.
Yeah. So right from the very beginning, what you can do is, I think current affairs is a strong base to start from. Reading daily newspapers, if you are getting it, like, if you are getting all what that is written in the newspaper, you can make notes out of it. What you find relevant, you can just do that. Start with that, and analyzing what is written in the editorials. If you are getting that, right? What I did was I had a separate notebook for editorials, right? So there is this development of a perspective about what is happening around you. right? You start understanding things. And not just that, you just have to do it in the background. You have to study the most relevant modules. You start with polity, you start with history, and gradually you just divide your day. What I did was, like, I had a daily diary. I prepared my topics previous day, and I already knew that what am I going to study on the next day. So that's what how you can channelize it.
Sapna, it would be very difficult for Kunika to, share with you the whole strategy. So I
Yeah.
suggest connect with the institute.
Okay,
Give a
ma'am.
call at the institute, and someone, someone from the institute would actually tell you in detail where to start from, how to start
Right.
from. Probably that's a better idea. But thank you for asking that question. It is really going to be helpful to many of the students. Yes, Pranav, I can see your hand raised.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, congratulations, ma'am, for your great success. मैं आपसे
Thank
बस
you so
यही
much.
पूछना चाहता हूँ जो मैम जो जीएस के टॉपिक्स होते हैं, कुछ टॉपिक्स मतलब बुक्स में नहीं होते, तो उनके लिए ऑनलाइन कौन से सोर्सेज पे रिलाय करना चाहिए? और बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है जैसे उन टॉपिक्स को ढूंढने में और मटेरियल ढूंढने में, तो
Right.
फिर आपने कैसे वो सब किया मैम? थैंक यू मैम.
कुछ एक material तो I was having it from the academy, right? And the second thing is that if there is something like आप कह रहे हैं कि कुछ एक material है जो नहीं मिल रहा है, government websites हैं, yes, you have to struggle a lot to find out those things, but then you find them. And if you're not getting the exact idea about what a topic is about, you find something related to that. You just have to orient your, content related to that topic. That's what can be done.
प्रणव,
थैंक यू
विधि
मैम.
मैम
थैंक यू सो मच.
किताब आती है 360 डिग्री प्रिपरेशन हिमाचल की मेंस के पर्सपेक्टिव से. आई थिंक 90% सिलेबस वो कवर करता है. व्हाट डू यू से कुनिका?
Right, ma'am. It covers
थैंक यू
almost
मैम.
everything.
Yeah, it covers almost everything. If you don't have that book, again, you can connect with the academy. I'll share the numbers and everything with you, and we'll guide you where to get that book from. Okay, then Ashu.
थैंक यू मैम.
हेलो हेलो.
We can hear you.
ओके मैम, मेरी क्वेरी थी जैसे कि यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट हूँ, एचएएस के लिए भी मेरा फोकस है, तो आपसे क्वेरी थी जैसे भी मेरा जीएस कवर नहीं हुआ है पूरा, तो फिर जैसे टॉपर्स बताते हैं कि आप न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ो, जैसे अभी मेरा जीएस नहीं हुआ है तो फिर जो हमें इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलेगी वो तो फिर वही है, रट्टा मारने वाली बात होगी, क्योंकि बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो है नहीं. तो फिर कैसे करें स्टार्टिंग से ही करंट अफेयर्स को लेकर कैसे करें?
जो मैं समझ पा रही हूँ, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि आपका जीएस अभी कंप्लीट हुआ नहीं है फॉर हिमाचल जीएस ना?
वैसे भी मैम हिमाचल भी और दूसरा भी, अभी फिलहाल के लिए बस पॉलिटी कवर हुई है, हिस्ट्री कवर हुई है, तो इंटरनेशनल इश्यूज वगैरह नहीं हुआ जैसे, तो अभी तो हमारे करंट अफेयर्स से कैसे रिलेट करें मतलब?
आप ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि करंट अफेयर्स कैसे रिलेट करें विद दीज? देखिए, अनटिल एंड अनलेस आपका जीएस के जो कोर सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी एंड इकोनॉमी, जब तक इनके जो भी कंसेप्चुअल एरियाज हैं, जब तक वो आपको क्लियर नहीं होंगे, यू वोंट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड, बिकॉज यू हैव टू रीड द करंट अफेयर्स इन कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ दैट व्हाट यू हैव स्टडीड इन द स्टैटिक पार्ट, राइट? सो माय सजेशन वुड बी दैट आप पहले वो सब्जेक्ट्स जो हैं, कोर सब्जेक्ट्स, उनको कंप्लीट कीजिए, एंड आफ्टर दैट यू स्टार्ट रीडिंग व्हाटएवर करंट मटेरियल इज देयर.
और मैम एचपी करंट अफेयर्स के लिए आप क्या फॉलो करते हो?
एचपी करंट अफेयर्स के लिए जो एसएनएमआईएस एकेडमी की करंट अफेयर्स की बुक है, आई यूज्ड टू फॉलो दैट, एंड आई यूज्ड टू रीड द ट्रिब्यून न्यूज़पेपर डेली.
Vidhi, may I please request you to share the link for the current affair magazine and the previous year magazines? So Ashu, ma'am will post the link in the chat box, right? You can download all the previous magazines down free of cost, but the latest you will pay us, it's 100 rupees that you pay for the latest one. So it's a content, pura compendium of everything that you need for HAS current affair preparation.
Okay, ma'am, thank you, ma'am.
Okay? Okay, Shravya, it's you next.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am, and very hearty congratulations to you.
Thank you so
ma'am, my
much.
question is with regards to time management. Like, how did you manage your time while being a full-time professional with the department,
Right.
as well as preparing for the administrative services?
So, regarding time management, as it was my third attempt, I had started preparing in 2018, and for me, this time it was more of a revision task rather than starting from the scratch. So that greatly reduces the time that you give for this preparation, right? So I used to a timetable thing. Everything was planned. What I'm going to do on the next day, it was previously planned. So that's what helped me, and I utilized. I used to call this the strategy of studying in the interstices. Whatever free time you're getting during your job, I used to read something during that time. Study IQ का वीडियो देख लिया, या फिर कोई एक टॉपिक है which was not clear in your mind, you just refer to any article on that, or insights on India देख लिया. So that's how I fed my mind.
Thank you, ma'am.
So it's not that simple, Shravya. I'm sure she would have had so many sleepless nights and she would have really worked her heart out to get where she is today. Okay. Also, please keep checking the chat box, because Nidhi ma'am is constantly posting. She's recently upgraded. We have upgraded ourselves, and there is a YouTube channel where she's constantly posting very relevant content. Okay, very relevant content, especially from general studies, current affairs perspective. So it is going to be a very easy referral for all of you to prepare your current affair, along with the books that we have been sharing with you. And okay, Karan Sharma.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
मैम कनिका मैम, मेरा क्वेरी मेरी मेंस टाइम मैनेजमेंट से रिलेटेड है, क्योंकि मैंने भी इस बार मेंस दिया था आपके साथ. तो
जी.
लेकिन तीनों एग्जाम्स में क्या हुआ कि एक दो क्वेश्चंस जो रह गए, एंड मेरे को लगता है वही कारण रहा कि आई कुड नॉट मेक इट टू द इंटरव्यूज. तो मेरा यही आपसे होता कि क्या प्लानिंग थी आपकी, मतलब एग्जाम से पहले, कि मतलब सोच कर मैं भी गया था कि पूरा करना है, पर हो नहीं पाया. तो ऐसे 4 मार्कर, 8 मार्कर एंड 20 मार्कर में.
ओके, मैं ये कहूंगी कि इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट द मार्क्स. 4 मार्कर है, 8 मार्कर है या 20 मार्कर है. इट्स अबाउट योर प्रैक्टिस. लाइक आपने कितना प्रैक्टिस किया बिफोर राइटिंग द मेंस. स्टार्टिंग में जब हमने आंसर राइटिंग करना शुरू किया, तो आई रिमेम्बर निधि मैम, शी बॉट अ स्टॉप वॉच फॉर अस एंड वी यूज्ड टू राइट आंसर्स इन अ टाइम बाउंड मैनर. सो that's what really worked for me. And I think it's something that comes from within. मेरा starting से ही writing speed काफी ज़्यादा था, because in my graduation background I used to write a lot. We had a lot of assignments to write. तो थोड़ा वो भी मुझे help किया. But yes, practice before mains is a must.
Okay, thank you ma'am.
Karan, आपने आंसर्स लिखे थे. Did you join any test series or anything of that sort?
यस मैम, मैंने आंसर्स लिखे हैं. अलाइड के टाइम में मैं निधि मैम के साथ था मैम. तो उसमें भी मैम 2-3 नंबर का ही गैप रहा था फाइनल सिलेक्शन में. तो यही चल रहा है मैम पिछले 1-2 साल से.
कोई बात नहीं. करण, पता क्या होता है, जब हम हथौड़ा मारते हैं ना, तो हमें लगता है कि आखिरी हथौड़े से पत्थर टूटा है. वी डोंट रियलाइज कि वो पहले हथौड़े से लेके 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 कितनी मार लगी, वो क्रेडिट आखिरी हथौड़े को चला जाता है. बट वो जो पहले का काम किया होता है ना, वो कभी वेस्ट नहीं जाता. एज पुनिका जस्ट शेयर्ड कि थर्ड टाइम वाज जस्ट रिविजन. सो जो पहले हथौड़े पड़े 2 साल 3 साल, राइट, दैट हैड मेड सो मच ऑफ डिफरेंस. सो प्लीज डोंट गेट डिसहार्टेंड.
नो, नॉट एट ऑल.
हाँ, तो वो थोड़ा सा फर्क है, थोड़ा सा डिस्टेंस है. आई एम श्योर यू विल बी एबल टू कवर इट दिस टाइम. ठीक है, मत नहीं हारना. ग्रेट. Okay, so those of you who do not come from the academy, we have a Telegram channel, we now have a YouTube channel, and of course all the content is freely available on our website. So for your convenience, Nidhi ma'am and Manmeet sir, they are putting in a lot of labor. मुझे खाली psychology आती है, उसके अलावा मुझे कुछ नहीं आता. So they are putting in a lot of effort to upgrade the content and facilitate what is required, and facilitate this whole journey of HAS preparation for all of you. So please keep in touch with all these resources. Keep upgrading your notes, your content, because somebody else is working very hard for you. So बहुत सारी चीजें अब आपको करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी जो पहले पड़ती थी. Right? Okay. We have one more question. Atul, over to you. You may please ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Congratulations, ma'am. मैम आप
Thank you.
साइकोलॉजी ऑप्शनल के लिए बताएंगे कुछ? मैम साइकोलॉजी ऑप्शनल के
जी।
साथ अपनी जर्नी बताएंगे और उसके प्रो एंड कॉन्स. Thank you.
So every optional has its pros and cons, and psychology for me was something which really interested me. I had a keen interest in reading psychology. So मैं ये सजेस्ट करूंगी कि आप अगर साइकोलॉजी ऑप्शनल पढ़ना चाह रहे हैं, पहली चीज आप ये इंश्योर कीजिए कि आपका इंटरेस्ट है उस सब्जेक्ट में या नहीं, because you have to devote a lot of time. You have to prepare for it for about 3 months. You are going to give your time for preparing your optional. You should have that interest in the subject, and for psychology optional I would say ki, you can prepare it really well with the right sources and right guidance from Shilpa ma'am. You can also take guidance with regard to that.
Thank you, ma'am.
The subject is a game changer, and she's very right. You really need to be interested in the subject. You get wedded to that subject. Basically, if you look at it, essay, subject, and interview, they are the game changers, because GS is a level playing ground for everyone. 2 marks isko zyada mil gaye, 4 usko zyada mil gaye, usme farak nahi padta, right? So I would suggest you, of course you can connect me with that. I'll suggest you book, start reading that book and figure it out whether that subject is really interesting you or you're really resonating with it or not, right? And thereon you can take a call, and we will be starting with the batches very soon, and you can decide and you can be a part of the batch, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Kunika, Kamini again has a question. If you could share your schedule, everyday schedule, when you were studying in the academy, how you were managing your time?
Right, ma'am, I can share it with you.
Please, go ahead.
Do I have to share it right now or should I share it later?
Okay, probably you can share a document or something of that sort with us, and then we will circulate it in the classroom, right? Because Kamini again is a classroom student. Shavnam, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Congratulations, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask that what would be the resources or like the book list which one need to follow to cover psychology, like from basics till like advanced?
If you are starting from the very basics, you can read NCRTs, and then you can follow the book of psychology by the S.N.M.IAS Academy. And what I additionally referred to was a book by A.T. Barron and Clifford T. Morgan. And for applied psychology, I referred to my class notes, which ma'am has taught, and the other book of applied psychology by Smarak Swan. And I can share that in writing.
Yes, ma'am, please. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. So I can't see any more hands. If there's any question anybody wants to ask, you're welcome. Or else it's time to say thank you to Kunika for sparing this time with us. Is there any? Shivanjali. Yes, Shivanjali.
Hello, Kunika ma'am. I have a question. What are your sources for current affairs?
You're not audible.
You're not audible.
Ma'am, what are your sources for current affairs?
Please check your mic, Shivanjali, mic, or just check the volume of the speaker. Meanwhile, Kunika, there's one more question in the chat box. Ma'am, how to keep ourselves motivated?
Like I said, that the motivation should not come from outside, it should come from within, and I relied more on intrinsic motivation. And what I did was I started my day with a motivational poem by Amitabh Bachchan sir, and it was Tu chal tere wajood ki samay ko bhi talash hai. And matlab, that starting my day with that poem, it was something that it kept me up throughout the day. There was nothing that could stop me. So you have to find your own ways of motivating yourself.
Yes. So I heard Kunika say that you must know your why. Why are you preparing? Right? That is what probably would really keep you going. Is it money? Is it status? Is it the security? Is it the bangla, gadi, the lovely office that you would have? Right? Like I can really visualize Kunika sitting in that massive office in that huge chair, isn't it? So use whatever it takes to kind of keep pushing you towards that goal. And what we do in psychology is we always say start from the end, isn't it? Keep visualizing, start visualizing yourself as an officer in that probably dressed up as an officer, living the life of the officer, and keep pushing yourself towards that wonderful day, that eventful day that is going to turn you from an aspirant to an officer. Try that, it should help. Utkarsh is saying, she's asking that what are your sources for current affairs? You covered whole current affair from S&M and Tribune only, or Kunika, was there any other source that you follow?
Yes, I refer to other sources. I refer to Vision IAS monthly magazines. I read editorials from the Hindu, and I refer to the editorials from Insights on India. The summaries of the editorials that greatly helped me. And Tribune and Himachal, that current affairs book that covers your Himachal current affairs.
Okay. So I hope you got your answer. Sapna?
Yeah, ma'am. There's one thing that actually, ma'am, how to keep ourselves motivated during the time of interview? Like a lot of us getting nervous, so how to keep ourselves to be motivated during the time of interview?
Sapna, there's a long time for you to go to the interview.
Ma'am, there are, as you said, it is the back reverse visualization. So
Okay. Yeah, Kunika.
Okay. So during the interview, before the interview, it is really important to be surrounded by positive people. I was constantly being motivated by my friends. They were like, yes, you are going to make it this time, and there's nothing you have to fear. You have everything to fall back on, right? So what I did was to be confident and to feel motivated. I used to watch various mock interview videos that were there on Drishti IAS, right? And also some toppers interviews which gave me insights regarding interview preparation and what to do at that time. And what else? Oh, that's all I can say.
I think when you're prepared, I mean, your confidence. Confidence comes from competence, Sapna. And once you have that competence, you know you'll nail it. And she already had faced the board once, right? She's written the exam twice. She know where did she falter. And she covered up that gap in the final interview round. Okay, one last question. Ashu, over to you. And post that, we're going to wind it up. Yes.
एक क्वेरी थी आपसे, दूसरे में हिमाचल प्रदेश में हूँ। कई बार क्या होता है कि जॉब की वजह से, ड्यूटी की वजह से कई बार ब्रेक आ जाता है 3-4 दिन के लिए, 1 हफ्ते के लिए, तो उसे कैसे कवर करते थे? आपके साथ ऐसा होता है?
पहली बात तो ब्रेक में आने नहीं देती थी अगर ब्रेक कभी आ जाता था ड्यू टू एनी रीजन, so it was like whatever pendency was there, I started from like अगर newspapers pending है तो I'll just sit for hours and complete those first. But dedicatedly, religiously, you have to complete what you have left. And there are times like when you feel low, you don't want to study.
मिनिमम
It's
कितने
just
आवर्स
that you
देते
can
थे
take
आपको
a break.
कंपल्सरी थे?
Compulsory. So it varies from individual to individual. बहुत ही ज़्यादा subjective रहता है. मेरा ये था कि जितनी भी hours मैं दूँ, if I'm giving 5 to 6 hours, those 5 to 6 hours should be the most effective. My phone was on DND, right? I used to connect my laptop to Wi-Fi. Whatever I had to search, I used to search it on the laptop so that I don't have to use my phone. I didn't want to get distracted at that time. So what I want to say is that the quantity or the number of hours that you give doesn't matter, but the quality of the time that you are giving, that's what matters. So try to be very efficient and give that effectiveness in that time.
All right. Thank you so much, Kunika, for such an enriching conversation over what matters so much to all the listeners today who have joined us on this call. And what I've heard her say is, please stick to specific number of resources, and more or less she's shared all the resources that she fell back on, and that those are universal. Everybody is attending to those. And have a mentor, right? Prepare in an integrated manner when we talk about prelims and mains. And I clearly heard her say that she never took a break, so that is the kind of attitude that is required when you aspire for this kind of a prestigious exam, and you have to be constantly working towards your goal and make it happen, right? Thank you, Kunika. All of us here from S&M wish you a wonderful career ahead, and I know you're going to be an asset not only to the office, to your office, but also to the state of Himachal. And please keep add a lot of value to the service, and stick to being who you are, a very humble, very hardworking, and a very dedicated person. All the best to you, and thank you once again for sparing your time and making it happen today. Thank you.
Thanks to you, ma'am, for inviting me over and giving me this opportunity to interact with all, so that I can share my experiences and the hows and what's of my journey. So it was really great to be amongst all of you, and it was a lovely interaction with all of you. And ma'am, thanks to you once again for making me who I am.
Come on. Thank you so much. And we really look forward to having you in Chandigarh and meeting you in person, and having a facilitation ceremony. So we'll talk to you about that. And whenever feasible, please come back to your institute and have, relive those days again.
Definitely, ma'am. I would love to.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope it was useful. It was meaningful for all of you to be here and sparing these 45 minutes here. I'm sure you would have learned, and you had lots to take home today. And Kunika would have inspired you in so many ways. So pull up your socks, right? And it would be great to have a similar kind of conversation with all of you in the coming year after the declaration of the result. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Meenakshi, for your support, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Kunika. Bye-bye. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.